You take a look around, you look at all these players here, everybody wants to be in the NBA. So, well, I ain't going to be there, And as I grew older, I was like, man, you know what, if I wasn't such a stubborn kid, that really would have crushed me.
Yeah, how well do you recall the first time you beat your father in basketball?
Yeah, I remember it was a war. I remember that. And after I beat him, I remember he never played me again.
Ever?
That was it. That was it. He didn't want me to kind of get him back for all the years where he was kicking my butt in the backyard.
How physical was that last guy?
It was extremely physical. My father, he's always taught me the little tricks of the game.
Like what?
I mean, like how to get away with the foul here, how to get a little extra step here, a little nudge here. So, but the only way, the way to really show me was to do it to me. So I had a lot of, bruises, man, and a couple bloody lips.
Really?
Oh yeah,
As a kid, explain why you would study bubblegum basketball cards.
Well, because, you could kind of see the little intricacies of each move, where the player's head is when he's shooting the basketball. You can kind of see all those little details.
Then why were you looking for that?
Because I was a nerd.
The 81-point game in the NBA, 81 points in a single game. What sticks out for you from that game?
Probably the fact that I had pepperoni pizza the night before the game. The day that I actually scored 81 was my grandfather's birthday, who had passed away a few years before. And my grandmother, who had never seen me play in the NBA just because her nerves can't take it, she flew out to California, and she came to watch me play for the first time and the only time. And that's just so happened to be the night I scored 81.
What was that like for you, with having your grandmother the first and only time sitting in the stands watching?
It was really special for me. I mean, my grandmother has always been there for me. I mean, she was one of these grandmothers who, I would play like 8 games a day in the summertime for different summer leagues and stuff like that. And she'd be like, boy, you need to slow down. You're getting too tired. You're exhausted. So for her to be there at the Staples Center to watch me play at this ultimate level after seeing me play for so many years, in high school and summer league was special.
When you're in the zone like that, how do you know?
Yeah, it's funny. It's a strange feeling because you're in the zone, but you can't afford to allow yourself to know you're in the zone, because once you do, then you lose it. Just being in that moment, it's all about being in that moment and not letting anything else into your mind emotionally or psychologically. And you just continue to go and go and go.
What's different about it, though? I mean, when you're in the zone like that relative to an average game?
Well, it's such a sense of calmness and focus. And it's almost a sense of desperation where nothing else matters. Nothing. Nobody talking to you. Not a fan sitting over here. Nothing is relevant. The only thing that's important is the moment that you're in. And it's tough to find that space on a consistent basis. But, I think that's what makes sports so compelling.
Nobody makes any secrets. There just wasn't the close relationship there that you might like.
There's things that I wanted to do with my career, take my career to another level. That I was just incapable of doing as long as we were playing together.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is presented by GMC. We are professional grade.